willingly giving up financial independence. This isn't all soft filters and sourdough inspiration. It wasn't until the 1960s in America and the mid-1970s in the UK that women had the legal right to open their own bank accounts or access credit.
Let's take a quick look at how women accessing credit is working out for them. Well, if we could just go to educationdata.org, look here, what's happening in America. Student debt amongst females. Female students are more likely to stay in student loans for themselves. $929 billion in student loan belong to women. Women hold 58% of all student loan debt. Okay. Female student borrowers have average debt of 9.6% higher than their male peers 1 year after graduation. In addition to that, guess what? They get the most useless degrees. I mean, this thing here is just complete slew of data. Here, I'll put this in the chat for you guys. Okay. Now, am I saying women don't deserve credit? No, but I'm saying they got credit, and take a look what they're doing with it. Okay. Let's continue.
Which meant that many women, particularly if they didn't work, were entirely financially dependent on a man. And this dependency didn't create happy marriages. As Betty Friedan found in her 1960.
So she's about to talk about this woman, Betty Friedan, right? And Betty Friedan was, I mean, first of all, look at her. Okay, just look at her. Look at any characteristics she may have, anything that may jump out at you. You know, and maybe go to her Wikipedia page and just check out the early life section. And this woman was known to be a liar and a smear person. She's actually she did a huge smear campaign against her ex-husband, saying that he beat her, but the reality was she was hitting him first. And of course, she can, just played the harp, played the violin. Oh, I'm the victim. Everything is bad. I'm so bad. Everything's bad for me. Wah. But then she talks also about herself like she has a bad temper and she's to hit her husband. And then she's acting like she's some great feminist icon, right? So listen to this bullshit study she cites as like the founding truth for this whole video.
Create happy marriages. As Betty Friedan, that many women, particularly if they didn't work, were entirely financially dependent on a man. And this dependency didn't create happy marriages. As Betty Friedan found in her 1963 book, The Feminine Mystique, middle-class American women who were living the suburban dream of husbands and housewifery were fucking miserable. In the 1950s, the average age of marriage for women was falling.
So she says that women back in the day were miserable, right? Based on some fucking book from some old that has a history of lying and beating her husband. But I live in a strange place, okay? And that's called reality. And it is clear that since the 1970s, when they began documenting female happiness in the United States of America, all right, female happiness is plummeting. Okay, from 1972 to 2006, they have been watching female happiness drop drastically. The more sexual liberation they got, all of that, okay, miserable. Okay. In fact, according to the study done at Yale, they said relative declines in female happiness have eroded a gender gap in happiness in which women in the 1970s typically reported higher subjective well-being than men. Okay. Women were happier back in the day. And again, we'll just go to this. I'll pull this chart up for you. I mean, there's endless amounts of studies as regards to this as well. But the cope is real. The cope is so fucking real. It's hilarious, dude. It is hilarious to watch them be so miserable. Like their misery is truly, and of course they just have to blame everybody. Blame everybody but themselves. You know, these chicks who go the modern way, they blame. And then when you sit around and you blame people all the time, I mean, come on. What do you expect is gonna happen? Okay. And you walk around and look at these chicks. You could just walk around and tell these chicks are fucking miserable, man. Miserable. Take a look. Here's a chart here. Exactly. It's one of the studies I was talking about. Okay. So the decades between 1970 and 2005, women's self-reported happiness scores have declined both in absolute and relative to men's scores. So back in the day, actually, women were happier than men. And then they started with the host. They started with all the brainwashing. And now look at that. Boom. And this, I guarantee this can even lower in the toilet now. Okay. Milagros is in the house. She does high-end ladies' nails. Okay. Self-employed, entrepreneur, baller, smart chick. Love her. Here she is. Telling you, right? These chicks are satisfied. All her clients complain to her about how miserable they are. Look at the chick. The average American chick just walks down the face with a scowl and an upset. Okay. It's hilarious. My Truth says this thing realizes trad girl in their 20s are snatched up by upper tier guys ready for family. She's gaslighting youngins by instilling doubt before they make the sound choice of not wasting youth. She'll end up cat mom with beta hubby.